Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. As always, thank you for tuning in. I want to do something. So, you seeing this live or seeing me literally live? But I wanted to get on live, or I am going live because I wanted to talk about just remembering. And when I say remembering, I'm talking about thinking about how we have gone through some things and how we push past those things, but at the same time, how we revisit those things in our minds and how they push us to continue. So that's what tonight's topic is all about. Um, and I will say this, I'm going to start off in prayer because I haven't, but that was what was on my heart to do, is to talk about these things because of a conversation that I had yesterday. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and pray. Holy Spirit, Father, and Jesus Christ, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this moment. I thank you for remembering. And I thank you for the lives that this message will touch, not for my glory, but for yours. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, yesterday, I was sending out messages to a few people, and I messaged my aunt. And when I messaged her, she she saw it and she called me back, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And it's funny because we hadn't talked in a while, so it was really good to just catch up. But as we were parting, she began to share her testimony again. And the ironic thing is, on Monday night, I was talking with a friend of mine on a live, and I shared my testimony. And my best friend, called me and wrote me a message afterwards saying, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being so brave to share your story. And I said, of course, absolutely. Because I have known for years that our stories are not just for us. Our stories are our testimonies of how we have gone through some things and we have conquered those things. We have not just survived and made it over, right? We have literally conquered those things. And when you have conquered something, you can think back on it without being in pain. You can think back on it without feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling embarrassed. And just a few minutes ago, I was in another, like a group setting, and people begin to share their stories. And we begin to talk about how healing it was and the reason why some of the stories happened that way is because, people didn't teach us things. And I'm going to go even further to say people didn't share their stories of things. And when you share your personal story of how you've gone through something and came out on the other side, you are teaching someone that they don't have to go through the same situation that you did. You are teaching someone how you can pull yourself out when it seems like there's no way out. You are teaching people how to put boundaries up. You teach people how to seek out the resources that they need simply by telling your story. And when you tell your story, the thing about your story is that you you tell it from the what they call it, the first person perspective. You can tell it from the, oh, I felt this way and this is what happened, and this is how the people treated me, or this person treated me, this person said this or that. And it's hopeful because when you can say, this is my story, this is not no one else's story. There's a old song that says, if you can't tell it, let me tell it, what he's done for me. And it's simply a reminder of saying, you know, it's not the fact that you can't share this story. I'm not saying that you can't share my story, but you can't tell the story like I can tell the story. You can't share the experience like I shared the experience. You can't use the verbiage that I know uh, that will connect with somebody on their heart, because you don't know how they think like I know how they think, because I was there, because I experienced this, because I remember when. And how many times have we seen that and heard that story when talking to someone older in our family? And they, oh, yeah, back in the 50s, we did X, Y, and Z, and this person was in presidency, and your grandma did this, your grandpa did this, and we were kids and we did X, Y, and Z. And now you see, like, those are times in the past, but they paint pictures for us, right? There's that southern or northern dialect, and then and it's funny because they imitate the voices, right? But then you also have the experiences, and then you have to think about the what was going on in life, like the signs of, what is it, not the signs of the times, but well, maybe I guess it is the signs of the times, right? And so when you put that all together, you get the full picture. It's like a storybook. And you can say, you went through all of that and look where you are now. And people can see that. You went through all of that, but I'm looking at you now. You don't look like you've gone through that. You don't look like you would have experienced that in your life. You were too nice to people to have gone through that, you know? And because I've come across a lot of people, and sometimes when I share my experiences, people look at me and say, not you, like, you're like the nicest person that I know. Somebody really treated you that way? Absolutely. I have had people to treat me like I was the not even the gum, I would say the mistaken poop that you can step in a park, walking your pet. People have treated me like that. And I carry on. I don't allow those situations, those moments in time to define me. I don't allow that to. They don't take precedence over what is in me, what was birthed in me, what was raised in me. I don't give it strength to define me because I define myself. I define myself. And when you can say, I define myself, it doesn't matter what they call you. As long as you know who you are by the definition that that one up there has called you, and you know who you are on this earth, it doesn't matter what terms they use. It doesn't matter how vulgar or derogatory it is. If you don't have to answer to it. And if you don't answer to it and you ignore it, then you ignore it. And there's no power in it. It goes with the saying, we sometimes give things more power than what they have. Excuse me. And I took a picture on my TikTok page that I'm slowly noticing that I need to do a lot better on. But I took a picture of a shadow from my dog's gate, and it looked like prison bars. So I took a picture, and I said, "How many times have we looked? How many times have we looked at the shadow of things and given it power, only to realize later that we were bigger than what the actual thing is?" And then I think I did a hashtag, and I said, it wasn't real, it was fake or something like that. But think about how many times in our lives we have made situations bigger than what they are, only to realize that the real problem is about this big. You see, a problem this big, and me, I'm taller than the problem. I can overpower the problem. I can step over the problem. And if the problem isn't mine, I'm not going to accept it. I am not going to take it on and tackle this problem that is not my own. And when we can realize that we don't have to put up and deal with things, unnecessary things, I would say, we live better. And most of the time, we recognize those things as small because we have already been through things. And we just have to remember how we got out, how we came over, how we leaped over. What were the oh gosh, I was about to say the cheat codes. But I guess, like, just like in a video game, people wanted the cheat codes to see how they can make, their fighter or the game do certain things, right? However, it's not a cheat code when you have already lived it. You have real life experience. You have hands on experience at that point. You are a master in that part of your life. And so while I was talking with my aunt and she began to share her story, I began to get excited because for the first time, now I have heard her share the story before, and I have heard other people share her story. But this time, and really, I only heard a part of the story that she told me. Let me correct that. I had only heard a part of the story that she told me yesterday, and from her, and then I heard the full story from her yesterday. And to hear her voice, to see her expression, to actually feel the joy that was coming from her, I said, "Oh yeah, that's what it is." It's we have to share our stories because we encourage others. And she shared something with me Not knowing, and I know it was a message from God, but not knowing that I needed to hear that. Not knowing that I was going through something um, that was trying to make me believe that I was weaker than what I am, or try to make me believe that I was weak. Let me put it that way, because I'm not weak. And just like I told someone, my name literally means strength. So anything that tries to make me weak, I'm already a conqueror. I'm already I'm already the victor, because my name means strength. That means I can handle it. It's lightweight. No matter what things in life happen, I already know that I'm strong enough to handle it. I already know that I'm strong enough to get through. I already know that I have the materials already inside of me to carry me through. I'm hearing that song. I'm trying to remember the words. It's like, um, what is it? Get it? It's something with your best shot. That's hold on. I gotta find that. I think it is called Best Shot. Uh-uh. That's not it. No, is it do it? Oh, hit me with your best shot. That's what it is. Hit me with your best shot. And it's like, when you know who you are, and you are solidified, and you are solidified in who you are. There's no wavering and no questioning about who you are and what you can do. This is what you tell life. Hit me with your best shot. You can hit me with everything that you have, but I'm telling you, I may stumble, I may sway, I may look like I'm about to fall on my face, but let me tell you, I am strong enough to survive it. I am strong enough to carry on, because even though you're hitting me with your best shot, that's not my best shot. That is not my story. My story is a story of conquering things and overtaking things that tried to overtake me, becoming the victor when everybody thought that I would be the victim. You see where I'm going? So that's why we have to share our stories to help encourage other people to go on, to help encourage people to know that it is okay that you're going through this. You can come out on the other side a victor. This is why we tell people, you know, don't be shameful about your past, because your past does not define who you are. The past is only what is it what do they call your past is your origin story. It is how you have created the person that you're going to become. And let's face it, we're all still becoming. We're all still becoming something greater than what we are. This is why we see maturity within ourselves, and we can look back and say, oh my goodness, the stupid things I used to do when I was in my 20s, and the stupid things that I did when I was in my teens. And oh my goodness, I can't believe I actually did that, and this, that, and the third. And you know what you did. But now you're looking at it from a different perspective. different mindset, and a different way of talking and thinking about it. And now you can see yourself for who you are because you recognize and you see how much you have changed. And when a lot of people starts to recognize how they have changed and they start to recognize um, how they were not the weakling that they thought they were, you get this push, this inner push. You get this inner inspiration that tells you, nope, you got to go on. Because remember, you went through that and you didn't even have half the resources that you do now. Now what? What are you going to do? How are you going to push through? How are you going to look at this new situation and say, you think you got me, but haha, the joke is on you. I have you. You don't control me, I control you. I can hit the escape button at any time. But guess what? You will still be there. You will be stuck in you. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Think about all the things that you have gone through. Think about the people whose lives you can impact. And sometimes you think, oh, well, this person don't want to hear this story. But that person may be the very one that's going through the same situation. Because just like you, how you carried a smile on your face when the world was going down and crashing down all around you, and you were still, and you take this picture and let's go into the future. Then you look back and say, look at that smile. Y'all see that smile? And I was going through the worst time in my life. And people are like, what? I was in the middle of this, and this was going on, and that was going on. And then lo and behold, the next day, this, and that would happen. People be like, what? All while you have a face. And it's not that you're putting on a mask. It's just that the way that God was carrying you during that time did not allow your facial expression to show what you were going through. It it strengthened you from the inside. And what they say, what happens on the inside comes out on the outside. So as you was getting strengthened on the inside, what was happening on the outside was you were showing strength. You was holding your composure. You was looking regal. Okay, you didn't look like you was going through turmoil. You looked like you was royalty. You looked at peace. Now there is some people can say, like those who really, really, really know you, them friends and family members that know you, they be like, yeah, I can look at this and tell. But to the outside world, they can't tell anything. All they see is someone that appears to be having a good time. And when you share your story, you teach people you don't have to look like you come from the poorhouse, even though you're in the poorhouse. You don't have to look like you're depressed and downtrodden. But also don't wallow in it, because then it will make you give that appearance. And actually, most of the time, people who are depressed usually put on a mask anyway, and they put on a smile and do things. And I think about Robin Williams when I say that, um, because just to think about how many smiles that he would give to people and encourage people just from his jokes and laughter and his animation. I think that's why I really loved him, because he was so animated and he would do things, and he's like, if you remember the cartoon Bonkers, he was like, to me, he was like the real life version of Bonkers. He was Bonkers in human form. He was boom 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 boom. But we didn't know that he was suffering the way that he was suffering. And yes, some people, I was reading an article and they were saying that, some of it was dementia, and and so who knows if dementia has settled in and that's what really caused him to do what he did. However, the point is, you didn't see him hurting. You thought it was normal. You thought everything that he was going through was normal. And so that lets me also want to share this. We can teach people that we don't have to wear a mask when we're going through. We teach people how you can be authentically you, go through when you got to cry it out, when you got to, I mean, when I say cry it out, I mean the red eyes, the snotty nose, the spit welling up in your mouth, all of that needed the tissue because it looked like deliverance, but you just crying your heart out that hard. Yeah, I'm talking about that type of look. When we can tell people, you don't have to put on a mask with me. I can be your safe space. Come to me when you need to have that talk. And because we all need that confidant rather, where we can talk to someone in confidence and let it out. And when somebody recognizes that you have gone through the same situation, they're more easily prone to talk to you and say, "Hey, I need to talk to you about this thing because, excuse me, everybody else around me don't get it." And we have all been in a space where people just don't get us because they haven't been through that situation. And until they go through that situation, they still will never know. Like I have a friend right now that has mental health issues and problems. And with me working with people, literally working with people and then working with the professionals, those that have the degrees in this field, I've come to an understanding and about how mental health works. I've come to the knowledge of how that, like, there is a thing called mental health first aid, because you if you can help somebody who's going through a crisis, you first have to recognize it. But if you have not had that training, if you have not heard the stories of the person's triggers, then you would think that they're just, oh, okay, that person's acting real, you know, like I don't know what their problem is, right? And that's how most people do. They treat people with mental health issues. They treat them like, I just told this person to do that, and they just ignored me, and they get offended, right? People are so quick to take offense on things. So let me first start there. Um, we have to stop taking things so personal. We got to sharpen our ears and our eyes to really see and hear what a person is saying. And that's where they said, a lot of people listen to respond and don't listen to hear. That's where that term comes from. Because when someone continues to talk and say things, and then your only response is, but you hurting me. But you da 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 to me. But you da 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 to me. Did you hear what the other person was saying though? Did you hear the person literally call you something, or did you believe that that person called you something out of misunderstanding because you were so quick to respond and not really listen? But I began to tell the friend that, her family does not understand what she's going through because they didn't have the training. They don't have the knowledge like you have the knowledge. They're not going through those experiences, so they don't know. So you have to be more vulnerable in sharing the experiences, and maybe have to include the professional so that the professional can make that connection. So sometimes when you're sharing your story, you may do you may have to have that third party um, individual that will help guide and guide the conversation and help the other people navigate the resources, the knowledge, right? It's okay if you need help explaining yourself. It's okay because now when that now when you or let me say it like this. So now when the person comes to you with an issue and you may say, okay, now our issues matched like this, but now when we keep going, yours is a little bit higher than mine. That's out my scope, right? Now when that person comes to you, you won't be so dismissive, but you will understand that, okay, this baby's root was the same as my root, but it took on a life form. And now I'm understanding what I'm seeing and I'm understanding what I'm hearing because I was taking it as an offense. I was taking everything that this person was saying as like, okay, so you're just not listening to me. Now I'm listening to the person and I'm like, okay, from a different perspective. And now I can accurately advise this person. I can accurately share some things with this person and know that they will actually grasp onto it. And let's face it, sometimes some people just need to vent. And I know a lot of people don't have the patience enough to listen to someone to vent. However, venting is what a way for us to share our stories. Venting is a way um, for us to release those things that we have hidden in our heart, right? Because we all know that when we release things from our heart, we are freeing ourselves. So I just wanted to share that with you all so that you can understand how to move forward within your life and how we can help others move forward within their lives by sharing our stories, by sharing our testimonies. So, like I always say on this channel, don't think about it. Don't even question God about it. Just go ahead out in the universe and be blessed. No matter what is going on in your life, be blessed. Have a good night.